What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So you can see, obviously, today we've had quite a bearish day with PMI, which was nice to see, and we're starting now to head towards some bearish PD arrays. So let's just get a few things marked out on the weekly first, such as this weekly bearish order block, which we traded into at the beginning of the week. And you can see now that we're clearly starting to come down into this fair value gap. Preferably, I'd like to see this fair value gap get filled, but as we drop down to the lower time frames, we can look more deeply into that. So let's go to the daily, and you'll see how much of a displacement down we've had. And one thing I want to bring our attention to is this volume imbalance right here. So last week, you can see that there was a gap here. Yes, we traded up and down with wicks, but there was a clear gap in price, and now we've traded down through on the downside, and it's likely going to close on the downside. So what does that mean? Well, the fact that we've traded below it now and closed, it should act bearishly for price and allow price to use it as like a propeller to send it lower. We can also start aiming for this swing low from Tuesday's low last week, so we can get that drawn out in red as a sell side target. And to be honest, I do believe this may be the start of that typical seasonal tendency for dollar to be bearish during the month of April. So yeah, we also have a bullish order block inside of this range, but once we drop down to a lower time frame, you'll see that there's a massive liquidity void. Let's go to the 4 hour, and you can see all of this upside delivery should get price should seek to fill it moving into the new day, as in Thursday and Friday. So moving into tomorrow, I just want to see continued downside price action, to be honest. I'm not really expecting any kind of retracement into this range. As much as I'd like there to be, I don't believe there's going to be much setups. I do believe price is going to, as I state, like fall straight out the bed. And what I mean by that is that as soon as that midnight candle hits on Thursday, we'll likely be trading lower, trying to get to that south side target. Another thing to notice is that fair value gap I was talking about, the imbalance. You can clearly see there's a consolidation at that point on the upside. The fact that we traded through that on the downside again, this line of defense getting disrespected like this is again signals and is signature of price that we should be hunting for sell stops. So this sell side target is a clear target for tomorrow. And then, like I said, I'd like to think that we can start looking at this range down here to get traded into. So let's just get that drawn out like so. And we can drop down to the hourly, where I'll get our daily dividers up as well. So here are the daily dividers. Again, you can see we traded lower today, gapping at PMI as well. A gap is another signature of very bearish price action. Here's that swing low I'm targeting, and again, here's that liquidity void I'd like to think we can try and trade to. So moving into tomorrow, I'm just expecting lower dollar. Like I said, I doubt we're going to see much retracement higher, because as far as I'm concerned, this range from this low to this high, I don't want to see any retracement until we've taken out this low. So I feel like, so basically price isn't really permitted. The way I see it is that price isn't permitted to retrace until we've taken out this low. So I'm definitely got my eyes set on this low for sure. And then after that, we can start thinking about potential retracements and then pullbacks for other setups. But other than that, I'm just expecting continued shorts on dollar with longs on the pairs. And I'd like to see this fair value gap get targeted. So pretty simple, but a very nice day indeed. Another thing I want to take our attention to is if we look at Sunday, the Sunday opening price, which is over here, you can see we gapped very slightly right here. And again, us trading through, a Sunday opening like that, as in we've traded through on the upside and now on the downside, it's another signature in price showing, okay, we should be hunting for sell stops, because these kind of PD arrays should be providing support typically. But when we see them get disrespected like this, it helps us know, okay, let's start hunting for sell stops. So these are all little things you can look out for and backtest yourself, and you'll see what I mean. But it's just important to have them noted when trading. Let's now move on to GBP USD. I'm going to start on the daily. And you can see that nice displacement to the upside, very beautiful price action. And we have a nice fair value gap up here to target moon into the new day. We'll make this orange. And then because we're now, well, I don't want to say we're bullish, but because of this large displacement, if we are to be bullish, we should anticipate fair value gaps to get traded to and through as opposed to turned at. So although we have this fair value gap marked out as a target, it'll be nice to see if we can trade through it so we can start looking for higher targets, and we can look for those on the lower time frame. Another thing we want to look at as well is this range right here. The fact that we have two wicks like this and this consolidation, and we traded through it. This acts similar to that gap we saw on dollar, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's just draw this out for a moment, drag that out, and this is similar. So this, what I'm showing you here, is basically the same as, I'll show you this on dollar, this. So try and see what I mean by this. So on GBP, when we drop down to the 4 hour, you can see a large consolidation was here. And like I said, this should typically act as resistance, but the way we traded through it with PMI and now finding support on it is showing that this should now propel price. So I'm looking for this fair value gap to get traded to. We can draw out a buy side target above there for price. And then we also have this massive liquidity void from this low, this high, sorry, down to this low. So there's a lot of room for price to trade higher, and that's what we should be anticipating moving into the new days. We can also see just a clear ICT model here, as in we came down, grabbed sell side liquidity below these lows, and then consolidated at that level and expanded to the upside. So in terms of tomorrow, the very lowest I expect price to trade will be this range. But like I said, it may just fall straight out of bed and just trade higher because of how bullish we are. And like I said, I do believe this high needs to get taken out before we start thinking about any type of retracement or deep retracement. Let's go to the 1 hour real quick. Again, you can see how we just came down, consolidated and expanded higher. Another thing to take note of is the fact that euro was pressing higher whilst dollar was pressing lower, but pound was staying in consolidation. So that's why I managed to trade both pound and euro with the expectation for pound to do more work, purely because it had to catch up with the way that euro was pressing higher. So definitely go watch my trade execution video for more context on that. But yeah, it's nice that we have now a nice fair value gap to target. And like I said, I want to see this high get traded to before we start thinking about any kind of pullback for a potential setup. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Let's now finish up on euro. And it's times like this when price is pretty, not easy, but just straightforward, as in I want to see higher prices and I want to see it done fast. Let's go to the daily. Here's that beautiful displacement we witnessed to the upside. And we can look at how bearish PD arrays are getting disrespected. So we have a bearish order block here. What happened? Absolutely disregarded. Bearish PD array here, bearish order block. What happened? We're trading right through it, past that midpoint. In fact, we should even draw that midpoint out. Let's get that done real quick. We should draw the midpoint out, and this should be the lowest price should even think about trading if it is going to retrace. And like I said, I doubt it will do it for now. Again, a fair value gap here as well. This will act as an inversion fair value gap. So we can, when we're seeing all these things come into play, it's telling us price wants to push higher. It wants to go to some kind of buy side liquidity. So we have a beautiful swing high right here. We can use this as a potential target for price. But when we drop down to a lower time frame, we should be able to find some more targets. So let's just get that drawn out. We can drop down to the 4 hour, and you can see how price is, just stepping its way higher. Again, this is what I mean. Euro was pressing higher today and then expanded up to the upside, whilst dollar was pressing lower and expanded lower, whereas GBP was held in consolidation and then expanded higher. Something to take note of, something to study. And there's that 50% level I was talking about at this consolidation level. But like I was saying, price should, reach a certain level of reach some kind of buy-side liquidity before we start thinking about any kind of deep retracements. So we obviously have this range that we may fill first. So we could look at this bearish order block right up here. Up here. Price may want to fill that, and then we get some kind of retracement. I'm not really sure. But what I'm saying is that moving into the new day, just be careful, as in we may just start trading higher straight away on euro and pound, and then see a retracement maybe mid-London or moving into New York. So something to be wary of, but it does tend to happen with price, where I would usually go into the next day thinking, oh, I'm waiting for a retracement to enter, but it just runs. And it can do that, and it very may well do that. So something to take note of. Hope this was all insightful. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, I highly suggest you go watch that. But it should be a pretty easygoing day tomorrow and moving into non-farm payroll on Friday. So that's everything, guys. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Join the Discord, guys. I do live back testing every single Sunday there. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.